The meeting will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Good morning, board members and public, whoever's on the call or in person. I'd like to call the May 25th, 2022 meeting of the Hillsborough County Board of Codes Adjustment Appeals and Examiners to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the oath. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you are planning to participate, speak, provide any testimony whatsoever, please raise your right hand. Answer the following question. Do you promise or affirm that on the testimony you will give, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. If you have a cell phone, please turn it to vibrator off. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Sam Greenberg,
Here.
Mike McEnany, Charles Foster,
Here.
Daniel Greenberg,
Here.
Henry Mosley,
Here.
James Palavita, Kathy Pratt,
Here.
and Doug Shields is absent with excuse.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the March 10th meeting?
Yeah.
Need a motion?
Motion to approve. Foster.
McEnany second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Any unfinished business? Okay. Any new business outside of the agenda? First up on the agenda is modification of order request. Christopher Hedges.
Good morning, board members. My name is Rick Finley. I'm a code compliance inspector with Hillsborough County Building Department. This case was case number HCCMP 2100000554 with Chris Hedges, and they were asking for a modification of order request. Would you like me to read the allegations again?
No, just would like to know staff's opinion on the request or progress on the case.
We don't have any objection to their request. Both lawyers have contacted us via email and stated that they've agreed on a revision to the plan to make the pool work for the owner. And now that it's been agreed on, they yesterday applied for a permit, and our permitting department's working with them to make sure that they get that handled quickly. So they are in progress. So they're just going to need more time, but I don't see them on the call or on here in person.
In his letter, he was asking for 60 or 90 days. Does staff carry the way, 60 or 90?
No, sir.
Okay, board members, what's your pleasure?
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the county's position on it, which is the addition of more time. And incidentally, this comes at no small cost to the pool builder, because I understand he's going to put in a skimmer,
Correct.
and then he's got to cover up all the way around the pool. He's got to make that right
Correct.
and correct any possible leaks or whatever. So he's going to do everything that's required, that the county's requiring as far as final approval.
Correct.
So is the question 60 or 90 days? Is it?
Correct.
Correct.
Well, if everybody's working in good faith, I don't see why 90 days. I would make a motion to give them 90 days.
We're in agreement with that. We're okay with that.
Okay, second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to extend their compliance for 90 days. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, Ricky, I guess you have the first part of the agenda.
Correct. My first case for today is case number 2021-0030. Violator is Samuel Cook Jr. Address of violation is 3409 South Palmetto Road, Wimauma, Florida. Allegations: Samuel Cook Jr. has failed to obtain permits for installation of mobile home on property and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1, Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Okay, motion?
Second.
I didn't hear who made the motion.
Foster, Calavita and Foster.
Okay. If I don't hear it, then I don't know if Kimber gets it. That's why I'm asking. Any discussion? Ricky, this is the older gentleman, Sam Cook, right?
Excuse me?
It's not junior. It's this contractor who's been revoked or suspended or whatever that's we're talking about, right?
Yes, junior. And yes, he does have a contractor's license, I believe.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
My next case is case number HCCMP 21-0000-154. Violator is Martha Reyes Quezada. Address of violation is 11803 Lark Song Loop, Riverview, Florida 33579. Allegations: Martha Reyes Quezada has failed to obtain permits for addition of awning on back of home and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second the motion, McEnany.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Next case, case number HC-CMP-21-00000387. Violator is Triso Catrino Mateo. Address of violation is 10903 East Old Hillsborough Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33610. Allegations: Triso Catrino Mateo has failed to obtain permits for porch addition to mobile home and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Second, Foster.
Okay. Discussion.
Mosley, just a quick question about the address. The address we're showing,
Excuse me, say that again?
All right, this is Mosley. I just wanted to clarify the address of the violation. The inspector Finley said that it was on Hillsborough, not Hillsborough, but old. He gave a different address than the one that's listed. 4022 Shady View Drive is the correct address for this case, correct?
That's where the owner resides, is at the Shady
Okay.
address. The address of violation was 10903 East Old Hillsborough Avenue. In
Okay, I got it. All right, thank you.
We'll finish with discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next case.
Case number HC-CMP-21-0000449. Violator is Udeli Iglesias Guerrera. Address of violation is 5410 16th Avenue South, Tampa, Florida, 33619. Allegations: Udeli Iglesias Guerrera has failed to obtain permits for renovation to home and accessory structure. Scope of work to include new siding, new windows and doors, re-roof of accessory structure, structural change of roof, new doors and windows, and re-roof of primary structure, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: a citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Pallavita.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Next case, case number HC-CMP-21-0000564. Violator is Jesus Antonio Espindola Morales, trustee. Address of violation is 720 Southwest Oak Street, Ruskin, Florida, 33570. Allegations: Jesus Antonio Espindola Morales, trustee, has failed to obtain permits for renovation and addition to home and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion to affirm.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Pallavita.
Thank you. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next case.
Case number HC-CMP-21-0000609. Violator is Paul L. Savage Real Estate, LLC. Address of violation is 9919 US Highway 41 South, Gibsonton, Florida, 33534. Allegations: Paul L. Savage Real Estate LLC has failed to obtain permits for construction of an accessory structure, metal building over 150 square feet and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion for affirmation.
Motion to affirm, Foster. Second.
Mosley, second.
Any questions? Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next case.
My last case for today is case number HC-CMP-21-00000649. Violator is Freddie Vega Morales. Address of violation is 14513 Sutter Place, Tampa, Florida 33625. Allegations: Freddie Vega Morales has failed to obtain permits for an addition of a patio roof on the backside of home and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations: citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to affirm, Palavita.
Second, Foster.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, board members.
Good morning, board members. My name is Matthew Kent. I'm a code compliance inspector with Hillsborough County. I have several code cases for you today, so I'll go ahead and get started. Case number 202000437. The violator is Thomas F. Jaconia Jr. The violating address is 5801 Portsmouth Drive, Tampa, Florida 33615. Allegations are that Thomas F. Jaconia Jr. has failed to obtain permits for an addition to the rear mobile home, as well as enclosing a portion of the carport, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO, as follows: 105.1, permit required. Recommendations are that the citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to affirm, Palavita.
Second, Foster.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next.
Okay. For this next case, 202000498, the property owner is in attendance and would like to speak on his behalf. He did submit a citation appeal, a written citation appeal. However, it wasn't within the 10 days allotted in the citation. But as a courtesy, we've allowed him to come and speak at your discretion. Okay. Sorry, the case number again is 202000498. Violator is Landis Arroyo. Address is 1605 Main Street, Valrico, Florida 33594. The allegations are that Arroyo Landis has failed to obtain permits for installation of an accessory building and attached structures on the west side of the property and moving an accessory building from the rear yard to the side yard and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO, as follows. Our recommendations are the citation be affirmed as written, and a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Excuse me, is this the first time we've ever cited him for no permit?
I believe so. This is the first time, yes.
Okay.
Okay, board members, we need to decide if you even want to hear an appeal now or if you want to make them wait till the next meeting so we have time to think about it, or what's your pleasure?
And he's here now?
Yes, yes.
Let's let him speak.
Do I have a second to that?
Second, Foster.
Okay, and all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, let him present his case. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm Landis Arroyo. I was born in this county for 47 years. Hillsborough County Fire Rescue retiree. I worked in Fire Marshal's office. I did plans review. I worked with some of these gentlemen back here, if I don't remember me. So it's debatable on my response to that because I sent it back as soon as they gave it to me certified mail. So I'd have to review the dates. They didn't tell me that I was out of date on the response. However, I don't think they provided you with a site plan for y'all to review. Do y'all have that?
No.
Is there any way for me to get that so y'all can look at it?
Sure. That's probably why we want, Sam offered the opportunity to delay it.
Yeah, there's a lot of context missing from here.
Well,
So-
maybe.
That's my point, sir, that to give you the most time and fairest shot to present your case and give us the most time and adequate
Okay, I'm not.
to prepare. We usually wait till the next meeting. You know, we can approve that for an appeal, but we can table till the July meeting if that's the board's pleasure. Otherwise, you have given us not your fault, but we only have half the story, or not the complete story, and it's not really fair to either side. So that was why I recommended we wait. But
Well, I'll make a motion that we wait till the next meeting, the July meeting.
Mosley will second that.
and is the appellant, is that okay with you?
Yes, thank you.
That'll give you time to,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All those in favor of tabling till the July meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Against? So moved, and staff can work with the appellate to present a complete case. Thank you. Next case.
Next case is HC-CMP-21-000098. The violator is Yoandri Calderon Acevedo. Address 701 Paddington Place, Brandon, Florida 33510. Allegations are that Yoandri Calderon Acevedo has failed to obtain a permit for interior home renovations, including plumbing, electrical, and mechanical, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part HCCCO as follows. 105.1, permit required. Recommendations are citation be affirmed as written, and a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to affirm, Palavito.
second, Foster.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Our next case is HC-CMP-21-00000228. The violator is Diana Hidalgo Agramonte. Address 621 Chilt Drive, Brandon, Florida 33510. Allegations are Diana Hidalgo Agramonte has failed to obtain permits for relocation of a water heater to the side of the home and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A HCCCO as follows. 105.1, permit required. The recommendations are that the citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
I actually have a question.
Well, I need a motion first, and then we'll have a question.
Motion to affirm. Mosley.
Do you have a second?
I'll second, Foster.
Okay, go ahead. Question.
Discussion.
Yeah, so the citation is for relocating a water heater, but the pictures show much more extensive renovation, infilling of a block wall, looks like some drywall work.
Yes, originally it was, they were converting the garage to a living space. After they received their notice, they basically quickly backed out of that and blocked up that wall again. and made the garage, brought it to its original
Okay.
structure, but the water heater remained on the side of the house, and they didn't get that permitted.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's no other issues then besides that.
No.
Do you have a picture of the water heater?
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's under
Very
a,
hard to see.
let's see.
Just past the fence, it looks like.
See right up the top there?
I see something. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's where the water heater is. It's in like a shroud.
Is that a tankless, it looks like?
Yes.
Electric or
I
gas?
apologize. No, it's not a tankless. It's a tank water heater.
Pretty
Looks-
easy permit to get, though.
What's that?
It's an easy permit to get at this point, so
Yeah, I mean, they
should be something
need
you can get into compliance pretty
a
quickly.
trade permit and an electrical trade permit for moving the electrical out there to the water heater as well.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
So the next case is HC-CMP-21-00000240. Violator is Hamid B. Kashani and Fariba Kashani. The address is 2036 Gregory Drive, Tampa, Florida 33610. Allegations that Hamid B. Kashani and Fariba Kashani have failed to obtain permits for construction of a detached garage and window replacements in the dwelling and are in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1 permit required. Recommendations that the citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Okay, on the citation, it says 33613, but you said 33610. What's the correct zip code, please?
Should be 33613. I apologize.
No, just trying to keep the numbers straight. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Motion,
Motion to affirm. Alavita.
Second, Foster.
thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Next case is HC-CMP-21-00000262. Violator is Ernesto Perez Herrera and Ana Maria Perez. The allegations are Ernesto Perez Herrera and Ana Maria Perez have failed to obtain a permit for an accessory structure over 150 square feet and construction of a block wall on the west property line and are in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows. Recommendations are the citation be affirmed as written and a fine of $500. Sorry, 105.1 permit required is the Recommendations are citation be affirmed as written and a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Motion,
Motion to affirm, Foster.
second.
Second, McEnany.
Thank you. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Next case is HC-CMP-21-00000309. Violator is Daniel Barone, trustee. The allegations are that Daniel Barone, trustee, has failed to obtain a permit for installation of two metal structures over 150 square feet and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1 permit required. Recommendations are the citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Motion to affirm, Pallavita.
Second, Foster.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next.
Next case, HC-CNP-21-0000578. Violator is Fernando Saavedra and Katia Saavedra. Address 11107 Old Hillsborough Avenue, Sefner, Florida 33610. Allegations that Fernando Saavedra and Katia Saavedra have failed to obtain permits for the installation of 2 storage container offices, construction of a pavilion structure over 150 square feet, and a storage structure over 150 square feet, and are in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1 permit required. Recommendations are the citation be affirmed as written, a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Motion?
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Pallavita.
Okay, you say construction of a pavilion structure. Is that like an outdoor kitchen, tiki hut kind of thing?
One more time, I'm sorry.
You say a pavilion. Is it like someplace where you'd have a cookout or?
It's basically like a pole barn, like roof over covering structure. It's got like it's 8 posts with a roof on top.
Yeah, I see it through the fence in the pictures. Any way to know if there's electric involved? I see fans hanging in one of the pictures.
Yes, there was electric as well.
Okay. I normally request that the building official have the power disconnected. I know he has that purview, so I'd like to add that to the motion.
Actually, I take that back. That was originally, they had solar installed there. They removed the solar.
Okay, well, never mind then. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion? Say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thanks.
Apologies for the interruption. If the board can remember to mute their mics when they're not speaking, we're getting a lot of ringing. That way, muting the mics will help reduce the ringing in the room. Thank you.
Next case.
Next case, HC-CMP-22-0000003. Violator is Antonio Casco and Santa A. Escobar. Address 13840 Acker Road, Dover, Florida 33527. Allegations are Antonio Casco and Santa A. Escobar have failed to obtain a permit for interior renovations, including electrical and plumbing, and are in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCCO as follows: 105.1 permit required. Recommendations are a citation be affirmed as written, and a fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion?
Make a motion to affirm Mosley.
Second?
McEnany, second.
Yeah, unmute your mic.
McEnany, seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Next case.
Okay, last case for me is HC-CMP 22-0000141. The violator is Cleveland E. Fulton Sr. The violating address that the work took place, 7608 Copeland Road, Odessa, Florida 33556. Allegations that Cleveland E. Fulton Sr. has engaged in contracting without a valid state or local contractor's license at 7608 Copeland Road, Odessa, Florida, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part A, HCCC, as follows. 202.2 representation. Recommendations that citation be affirmed as written and a fine of $2,000 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Second, Foster.
I didn't hear who made the motion.
Foster. Palavita, then Foster.
Thank you. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Hold on.
Aye.
Hold on. Question.
Okay.
How are they going to bring the property into compliance if he's not a licensed contractor?
The property actually already has been brought into compliance. The homeowner got a homeowner builder permit for the plumbing.
Okay.
Um,
So really, this is just a fine to the
a
unlicensed.
fine and a lien against his personal property.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, sorry about that, guys.
No problem. Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, board members.
So, sir, let me ask you a quick question about the our Zoom meeting. What's the gentleman's name? So they can't hear us unless the mic is on. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, when you're speaking at all times, just use the microphone. But when you're not speaking, just keep it muted because we're getting a lot of ringing and that's what's going on right now.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Daniel Rumman is next.
Good morning, board members. My name is Daniel Roman. I'm a Hillsborough County Code Compliance Inspector. I'm here to present to you my first case. It's case number 20200505. Violator is Felipe Medina Gonzalez. Address is 6929 DeMarco Road. Allegations are Felipe Medina Gonzalez has failed to obtain residential new construction and additions permit for the accessory structure located on the rear of home and attached to the main structure and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8 Hillsborough County Code Compliance Ordinance Part 8 HCCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real property or personal property owned by the violator until fines have been paid and property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Palavita.
Second, Foster.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
My second case is case number HCCMP 21-0000084. Violator is Elenia Palacio Landes and Rene Vicente Perez Betancourt. Address is 7803 North Matanzas Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33614. Allegations are Elenia Palacio Lantes and Rene Vicente Perez Betancourt has failed to obtain permit for the garage conversion into dwelling space, the patio enclosure or in conversion into dwelling space, in addition to main structure on the northeast of the property, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code Compliance Ordinance Part 8 HCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. Recommendation. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real property or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Palavita.
Thank you. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next case.
The next case is a staff request to rescind board order. The case number is HC-CMP-21-00000177. Violator is Yvonne Yolanda Capin, trustee, and Jessica Lynn Capin, trustee. Address is 7538 North Dale Mabry Highway. The allegations. The original allegations was that Yvonne Yolanda Capin, trustee, and Jessica Lynn Capin has failed to obtain permit for the addition to the permanent structure of the commercial building, failed to provide and failure to provide electrical trade permit required for the new lighting inside and outside of the commercial building, and was in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code Compliance Ordinance Part A HCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. The recommendations. Staff requested the board order to rescind this order. Case was created under the address 7538 North Dale Mabry Highway as per the Hillsborough County property appraiser records. Units were not identified as individual addresses. The property owner obtained a permit under address 7542 North Dale Mabry Highway, permit HC-BTR-210086-246, issued on 12/15/21, and reissued under HC-BLD-22-0030468, issued on 3/28/22. Due to wrong information on the initial permit. Citizen had proof of the permit issued before the January hearing. Citizen provided permit information 17 February 2022 after the case had already been on the January hearing and receiving the board order via mail. The scope of work on the active permit issued covers the electrical work and the addition throughout the unit.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I get a question. So it says here that the permit was applied for and issued after the notice of violation went out in April. So there's a notice of violation in April of 21, but they didn't obtain a permit or apply for a permit until December. So why are we waiving this based on a technicality when they were still?
The permit was actually requested, I believe, in August. They were having issues with the permit, and that's why if you look at it, the first permit that was there ending in 86246, it was actually issued on 12/15/21, but they made a mistake on I believe, the information on there was wrong. I think it had to do with the contractor. So that's why when they did it again, then it was issued until 3/28/22. So for the staff, we did see that they did get one issued covering what we had requested them to do back in December. But again, because of the information on the permit, we were not able to catch that.
Right, but their notice of violation was still 8 months before they applied for a permit. Technicalities aside.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I make a motion to keep the citation in place then, personally.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
So if I get this right, they did the work, and then 8 months later, they applied for a permit.
After they were cited in April, which is
After they were cited.
Yeah, that's
After they were cited is when they tried to pull the permit. But again, it was the original permit was initiated in August. The request for it was initiated in August, but it was not issued to them until December.
Okay, but when was the work actually done?
Way before that. Way
Okay.
before that, yes.
Okay, and why did they apply for a permit in August? Because they'd been cited?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. They were having They remove portion of the violation, which was an addition that they had done to the structure on the rear.
Right.
Which they removed it, and we gave them time for them to remove it, but the violations still cover the electrical inside and outside of the, so that's what they were trying to get, an electrical trade permit, and trying to get somebody to do that for them.
And it's your request that we rescind the charge?
Due to the time frame that they did get the permit on December, and I brought the case to you guys in January.
Well, hasn't it been the board's position that if they did something illegally and they get the permitting and get that squared away, that's what we were happy with?
Is that correct, Sam?
That has always been Jim Blink's comment is we're looking for compliance, not punishment. And whatever triggered them getting the proper permit, having the work inspected is, protecting the life safety of the public. So yes, that's been our mantra for all the years I've been doing this, which is now pushing on 32 years. So I'd like a second to Dan Greenberg's motion to not accept the revision, and then we can move forward one way or the other.
Yeah, Mosley will second that.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion?
Yeah,
Well-
what was the motion again?
Motion is to not rescind the citation, the board order. So they would be required to pay the fine to county.
This is a commercial building, correct? I mean,
That's correct.
That's what we're talking about, a commercial building. I somehow or another, I have a sense that this is different than some of these residential projects where compliance by the owner is what we're really after in the bitter end. But this is a commercial building where somebody really stepped out, and the occupancy makes a difference to me here.
That's why we're 7 and not just one person.
Yes, I believe it. Yep.
Any other comments on the motion to not rescind the board order? Okay. So if you vote aye to support the motion, that means the fine stays in place. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's 5 in support of the motion and 2 against. Is that correct?
Sounded that way to me too, Sam.
Okay. Kimber, is that what you're counting? Okay.
Apologize, yes.
Okay. Thank you. So the motion to not rescind the board order is carried and approved. In next case, thank you.
Okay, next affirmation is case number HC CMP -21-00000206. Violators is In Excess 7 LLC. Address P.O. Box 447, Odessa, Florida 33556-400447. Allegations. In Excess 7 LLC has failed to provide residential plumbing trade permit for the work being completed on the north end of the property and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances, Part 8, HCCO, as follows. 105.1, permit required. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and property is brought into compliance.
Okay. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Have a second?
Mosley, second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, where's the alleged plumbing work being done in the photos that you submitted?
So if you look at the, 1 second here.
If you look on page 7 of the PDF for that case, you'll see some plumbing lines on the ground.
I see pipe on the ground, but I don't see
Yeah.
any connections to the plumbing system.
Is this underground tie-ins or something?
Yes, they were, I think it was more of a repair that they were trying to do. But again, they do have, they can do an emergency repair, but they do have 24 hours to apply for a permit for the structure. Yeah.
But again, where is the work being done? I don't see any work being done here. I see, pictures of the ground and pipe on the ground, but I don't see any work being done.
I'm sorry, the photos are pretty bad, but there is a hole right here in the ground where they actually had gone in there and they actually were making a connection to a sewer line that runs along the side of the home. I don't know if you can see it in here a little bit better, but this is where the connection was being done at.
But you have no photos of that.
I try to take as best as I could. You could barely see the connection where it's right here that they were trying to make. The first time that I actually went out there, they had it like this where they were doing the repairs, and then the second time that I went, they had already closed it up.
But you got no photos when they were doing the repair.
No, at this time. Yeah, it was that cap and that connection that they were doing. That's what I took pictures of.
The people that were doing the work, were they a licensed contractor or do you know?
The group never contacted me. There was no connections. We posted the violation. We sent them a citation, and unfortunately, we still haven't had any contact with them. So I would not know who was doing the actual work.
I can't imagine a sewer permit would be too much trouble when it's probably just a walk-in, walk-out permit. It's something very simple to do. I don't know why these people are avoiding it. It just doesn't make sense. Are we sure we have the right address, et cetera?
Pardon?
Have you had any contact with the owner?
No, we haven't had any contact with them.
Okay.
I make a motion to affirm the citation.
Mosley will second it. It just doesn't.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, 6-1. Thank you. Next case.
Next case is case number HC-CMP-21-0000264. Violator is Leonardo Echemendia Flores. Address is 2703 Armenia Court. The allegations are that Leonardo Echemendia Flores has failed to obtain permit for addition of new accessory structure to the west side of the main structure. 2, replacement of windows and doors. 3, garage enclosure and conversion, and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance Part A HCCCO as follows: 105.1 permit required. Recommendations are citations be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Palavita.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Next case number HC-CMP-21-0000357. also referencing case 20017835. Violator is Lázaro E. Leal. Address is 4207 West Hannah Avenue. Allegations. Lázaro E. Leal has failed to obtain permit for enclosure and conversion of porch into accessory dwelling and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Compliance, Code of Ordinance, Part A, HCC-CO as follows. 105.1 Permit required. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Motion.
Motion to
Motion to
affirm.
affirm. Mosley.
Second, Pallavita.
Okay, question. You reference another case. Is this like a continuation or an additional, or what does that mean?
I'm sorry, is that the case just now?
Yes, on the 357 on the
So this is a case that we converted into the new Acela program because it's a 2001 case actually.
Got it.
That was brought into. It's the same issue that they had back then, but it was never brought up to you guys. So I just referenced that same information from the code enforcement case.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Next case.
Next case, case number is HC-CMP-21-00000392. Violator, Lisandra Garcia Cordero. Address, 4524 West Fern Street, Tampa, Florida, 33614. Allegations. Lisandra Garcia Cordero has failed to obtain permit for the alteration and conversion of garage structure into accessory unit and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance, Part A, HCCCO as follows. 105.1 Permit required. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Pallavita.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Next case. Case number is HC-CMP-21-00000477. Violator, Olga Galvan. Address, 204 Jason Drive, Town and Country. Allegations. Olga Galvan has failed to obtain permit for the addition of a 10 by 16 porch structure to the east side of the main unit and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance, Part A, HCCCO as follows. 105.1 Permit required. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Motion.
Motion to affirm, McEnany.
Second, Foster.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved.
Next case, case number HC-CMP-21-00000478. Violator is Dominic Joseph Jr. Bianchi and Jonathan James Rife. Address 14228 North Florida Avenue, Tampa 33613-2127. Allegations. Dominic Joseph Jr. Bianchi and Jonathan James Rife for the construction of a 30 by 40 metal accessory structure building located on the northwest corner of the property and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance Part A HCCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until fines have been paid and property is brought into compliance.
Okay. Have a motion.
Motion to affirm, Palavita.
Second, Foster.
Okay. From the pictures, this looks like a commercial property that these guys own.
Yes, it is a commercial property.
Okay. So it's more than just a building permit. They probably need site and a bunch of other things.
Correct. They were trying to get electrical into the building, and that's how we got contacted.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next.
Next case. Case number HC-CMP-21-0000581. Violator is Nathan Goodwin and Thelbert Reish. Address is 14613 North 17th Street, Lutz, Florida 33549. Allegations. Nathan Goodwin and Thelbert Reish has failed to obtain permit for construction of accessory structure 28 by 16 in the rear yard and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance Part A HCCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Okay. Motion.
Motion to affirm, Foster.
Second, Palavita.
Thank you. Discussion. Awesome.
This is Mosley. I can't tell from one of these photos. It looks like the building looks like it wants to fall down. It's
It does.
braced up on the sides. Is that my?
That's what it looks like to me. It looks like just a party shed, and one good wind, it'll be on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other? Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Last case.
Next case. Case number is HC-CMP-21-0000674. Violator, Olga Mella. Address, 5203 Nashville Drive, Tampa, Florida, 33624. Allegation. Olga Mella has failed to provide residential building alterations and renovations permit for the enclosure of the Lanai area and is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1 Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance Part 8 HCCCO as follows. 105.1 permit required. Recommendations. Citations be affirmed as written. A fine of $500 and a recording fee be assessed and shall constitute a lien against any real or personal property owned by the violator until the fines have been paid and the property is brought into compliance.
Motion.
Motion to affirm.
A second.
Second, Palavita.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
That was my last case,
Yes,
Sam.
that's your last case, and then I have affidavit of violation.
Correct. Affirmation citation. Yeah.
Who's presenting that? You?
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Case number HCCMP -21-000659. Violator is Yi Wan Cho. License CCC 1332004. Address 9505 49th Street, North Pinellas Park, Florida 33782. Allegations. Yi Wan Cho is in willful and deliberate violation of Section 8-1, Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance Part A, HCCO as follow. Allegations. 113.6.2, grounds for revocation and suspension. Item number 10, abandoning a construction project by terminating work on the project for a period of 30 days without notifying prospective owner and the building official unless just cause for such termination can be proved. Recommendations. Citation be affirmed as written. Recommendations be affirmed a $500 fine and a recording fee be assessed if not paid within 30 days of the board order. The permitting privilege be suspended for 90 days in Hillsborough County, City of Tampa, City of Temple Terrace, and Plant City. I do want to make one correction to this, and it's the address. This is the address of where the violator resides at, but the actual address for the location the violation was done was 1703 Pond Lake Drive.
Okay. Is the violator, is there notice? Where are we at with this case?
So the violator replied with an email that he wanted to. One second. I'm sorry.
He wanted to appeal the case, is what I
He
see.
wanted to appeal it, yes.
Mosley has a question.
Okay, so he did send us an email. Would you like for me to read the email?
Yes, please.
Okay, it says, "Hi Kimber, I wish to appeal this citation HC-CMP-21-00000659 for the following reason. We had started Miss Marsh's roof sometime in late 2019. We had a difficult time in the beginning to pass the inspections at this home. Was it custom built? We had to install a TPO commercial roof in a residential home with custom fabricated metal trim and coping. We had received the roof plans from Miss Marsh to figure out the exact measurements of the finish out punch list. This took us several months of going back and forth with the inspectors, which the permit had eventually expired. We had renewed the permit several times to correct the issues with the roof. We never planned to abandon this project. Please see the attached for the letter we had written to renew. Around the year 2020, we had an extremely difficult time in getting crews out of any job due to the start of COVID. This is around the time we believe Miss Burgess, who is Miss Marsh's sister, had taken over the project without our knowledge. We had attempted to notify Miss Marsh on updates with the project, but we were not told that Miss Burgess was made the new point of contact. We didn't even know who she she was or if she was involved in any sort of way. She had hired a different contractor without notifying us and somehow had him work under our permit. I've attached several emails that I had sent to Hillsborough in confusion on how this had happened. This was all very confusing for us, and we had eventually gone out of business in late December, which is when I received the call from the Chief Inspector, Keith Crockett, regarding a citation against us. I contacted Ms. Burgess regarding this to figure out a solution, but she did not make it clear on what she exactly wanted. Please let me know if there is any more information that I can provide to you that may help this case. Thank you, Daniel Yi Wong Cho.
Okay.
Is he on the call? Oh, Sam.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear what went on. Is the contractor on the phone call?
Sam, yeah, he's on the call. It's under Daniel Contractor.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
No, sir. That's pretty much it. We just didn't get any contact from Mrs. Burgess. We didn't know that there was a power of attorney that was signed over to her, and we didn't get any contact from her. And we just didn't know who we were supposed to contact. We were in constant contact with Mrs. Marsh and her son Ryan Coons, and updating on where we were with the project. But other than that, we weren't notified anything else.
Okay, it's right. Excuse me. It's in the construction ordinance when work is not done or there's delay of anything. It's required that you notify the building official through the building department that there's an issue going on with a permit. So I guess that's where you fell into trouble, was that 30-day notice.
Okay.
Okay, board members, any questions?
Yeah, question. When did the job start? The date on the job, you said 2019?
I believe it was late December. I can't remember the exact date of 2019.
What month in 2019?
Yes.
What do you say?
December.
Daniel, what they want to know what month the job was actually started.
I believe it was in late December of 2019.
Said late December? And then there were some punch list items that needed to be corrected? When was that?
Yes,
was there
sir.
a date?
I can't remember. It was when the inspector had come out, and then it was a small punch list items as we just had to waterproof underneath some of the coping and put some patches over some areas that the inspector pointed out.
Really small stuff, right?
Yes.
But yet you couldn't get out there?
No, we weren't able to get out there because one of the main things that we were waiting on is he had a wall that had a curve to it, and we were finding the reason for the long delays were because we were trying to find a metal contractor that was able to fabricate that exact coping to fit that curvature, and we were having a very difficult time in doing so.
Was that in your scope of work?
Yes, it was. It was. At first, the coping was not, but then the inspector had let us know that we did need to put some coping on the walls. So we added that to it, and we didn't charge Mrs. Marsh for that either. We weren't paid in full for this job yet because we didn't finish.
So when did you try to respond and get back to correct everything?
Oh, yes. So we were in constant contact with Mrs. Marsh, and we were sending crews out there here and there just to let them know that we were still working on it. So we would make small patches, call the inspector, and then the last thing that we had to do was really that one side of the coping where it had that curvature.
Yeah, but when? What was the date that you got back with her?
The last time I spoke with Mrs. Marsh, I believe, I can't remember the exact date. It's been quite some time since then. I believe it was sometime in 2021. We sent out an email to her and her son, or yeah, sometime in 2021. I can't remember the exact month or date, but it was throughout. We had renewed the permit sometime in 2021, and that's when we reached out back to her.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Chairman, I would like to add that the citizen is here and would like to speak with the board.
Okay. Name and address, please, when she gets there.
Good morning. I'm Colette Burgess. I'm my sister's representative for Nancy Marsh. She's the homeowner at 1703 Pond Lake Drive. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm going to be short and give you bullet points. I have very detailed notes of dates and times, but I'm not going to bore you with that. If you'd like it, I can give it to you later. I'm here today to request that you permanently revoke the permitting privileges of Mr. Cho. Custom roofing. And I'd also, because of job abandonment, I'd also like you to do whatever you feel disciplinary action is appropriate after you hear the comments of this. The gentleman, Ji Cho Wong Cho, was known to us as Daniel Cho. We did not know that was his name. And he totally abandoned my sister's project. The permit was opened on June 24th, 2019. He started work September 26, 2019. 2 final inspections were given to him October 24th, 2019 and December 11th, 2019, and they were told that they were not ready for a final. A. Jordan was the last person that did the inspection. I'll give you the thumbnail. I have the actual report. He said that the coping was needed and it needed to be installed properly. That was the last inspection that Mr. Cho chose to do for Woodstone Construction. I'd like to show you a picture of the coping. I don't know how to do this. And I just put it down. This is the coping job that he did for my sister's house. That's one picture. That's exactly how I felt about it. And here's picture number 2. My husband's a contractor. I'm not, but I think I could have done that with a couple helps from my friends. Okay. Welcome to have those if you'd like. No additional inspections were ever requested after December 2019. During the calendar year, as I said, my sister was having medical problems. She has lost her memory. We had to move adult children into the home, financial, whatever, legal stuff. I became power of attorney, but the family called many times to Mr. Cho with no response. As I said, I became power of attorney in January 2021. I personally called and spoke to Mr. Cho on January 5th, 2021. He agreed to reopen the permit, and he did so on 1/10/2021. Many calls were called to him. He never showed up to do anything after that point. Your county people were very good to me. I asked for advice from Mr. Crockett and from Mr. Ohms. They told me what to do. The roof started to leak. At that point, I had no choice but to call another contractor. It had been 5 months since I personally spoke to Mr. Cho in January. So I had to then hire a new contractor and pay again for what was already paid for the coping. In, I think it was May of that year, the 24th, we hired another contractor. He did a contractor change form. That was done. And then June 2nd, he finally finished the coping. So it took him 9 days to get the coping and to cope the house. This is the second.
This is the other contract.
Yes, sir. This is the second contractor. 9 days. 9 days. He found it. So he called for a final inspection, and we received a final inspection. And we were happy to say that we received a final inspection 22 days short of 2 years of a roofing job. I am asking for the same thing that I started with. I'd like you to permanently revoke this gentleman's license. I would like you to discipline him, whatever you all deem proper. And I'd like all this information to be sent to the State of Florida Department of Regulations. I'm happy to answer any questions.
At this time, the roof has no leaks and your sister is satisfied with it?
Yes. Yes, we're fine with it now. And we were a little short in the pocketbook for what we had to come out of done. I will say, Mr. Cho did return, the one time he spoke to me was January the 5th of 2021. The next time I spoke to him was March of 2022 after he received the citation. He also spoke to Mr. Crockett, Mr. Ohm. Mr. Ohm felt very comfortable that what he said to him was that he was going to help and he was going to call. Mrs. Burgess, don't worry, he's going to call you. Never heard from him. That's all I know. I really can't speak to a lot of what happened in 2020 because I wasn't personally involved in that, but I've got detailed records on what happened after I got in touch with them.
So the biggest complaint you had was the coping was never completed, correct?
The biggest complaint I have is that a contractor did not speak to his customer, and then the coping was not done, yes, because we had leaks.
So the what you had replaced and permanently fixed that he couldn't do was the coping cap?
Yes, sir. Well, we had some leaks. We had some nail pops, as we saw in the first, on the October final that was failed. But the contractor that we had went up to the roof and did everything that he could do, along with the coping. He mopped some stuff in and fixed nail pops and whatever. But we're fine now. I don't know how long the roof will last, but those are things that we'll have to deal with on our own later.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, the original, the scope of work is just a roof, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And it is a curved wall. It is a contemporary looking home, but I think any competent roofing contractor, when they estimated the bid, would be able to know the scope of work.
Right. When you have a wall like that, the coping would be required, right, Mike?
Pardon?
Well, if you have a wall like that that they showed in the picture, and you're re-roofing, you'd have to include the coping.
Or wrap the wall, yeah.
Yes, in order to make it watertight.
That's the best, best solution. You got to terminate it with metal, some sort of metal.
Correct.
Other than the picture we saw.
And that was in place before the roof was started. The coping was in place from the old roof.
Right.
So that was pretty poor workmanship that in the pictures, wasn't it?
Yeah, my biggest problem is, he told me it started in December of 19. The permit was pulled in June of 19 and he started working September 19.
That's correct.
That's crazy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Mr. Cho, any closing words?
Hello?
Yeah, anything you want to add?
No, I don't recognize the date exactly. It's been quite some time. But I don't remember speaking with Mrs. Burgess early in 2021, but I did reach out to her in January 2022. That was the first time we spoke.
Are you still in the roofing business?
Yes, sir, I am. And we still haven't been paid in full for this job, which I'm not requesting to or going after or anything like that. But I don't believe that I deserve to have my license completely revoked for this.
Okay, thank you. Board members, what's your pleasure? If you remember, we do these in two parts. We need a motion on the allegation, and then you need a separate motion on the recommendations. So who would like to go first?
I'll make a motion that the contractor is guilty of staff violations on this project.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Staff recommendations.
So, question, sir. You did receive the contractor change form for the new contractor? county has received that?
I believe so. Yeah, it's inside the permit. Yes, they did receive it.
And are those notifications sent to the original contractor by the county or some automated means?
That I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's not necessarily guaranteed that if a contractor change form were provided to the county that the original contractor would know that.
So what are our parameters here?
Well, right now we're up to staff recommendations. So one would be the citation be affirmed as written, and two, the recommendation of the $500 fine, and then whatever you deem appropriate as we deem appropriate as the building board, whether it be the fine and nothing, the fine and suspension, temporary or permanent. He is state certified, right, Mike, with the CCC, that's state certified license. So we cannot revoke, but we can suspend permanently his permanent privileges in the areas, Hillsborough County, City of Tampa, Temple Terrace, and Plant City. Those are pretty much the options. Whatever way, severe or how lenient you want to be on the recommendations.
Does staff have any record of this contractor being written up before? Any issues?
None that I could find at the time. No.
How long is Daniel contractor? How long has he been a contractor, a roofing contractor?
Daniel, can you hear him?
Oh, yes. It's been several years now. I believe I'm coming into my 4th year being certified.
So I mean, we definitely want to affirm the fine. I mean, I make a motion to affirm the fine of $500.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second that, Foster.
All those in favor of affirming the fine, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's approved. Next one.
The next one would be a suspension in the county.
Hillsborough County, City of Tampa, City of Temple Terrace, and Plant City.
And this will also be, he'll be notified, the state will be notified of this. Is that correct?
That's automatic for any state. Yes.
So he's still free to work in 68 other counties in the state.
Right. We can only deal with our county.
Mr. Cho, question for you. You indicated in your letter to the board that that you're out of business. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more for us?
So we did go out of business at that time. We started a new one, and we're in the process of transferring. So I have 2 licenses at the moment. The other one is currently active that we're actually doing roofing work. The other one we're in the process of transferring from the company that went out of business to a new one that we're creating.
So you're qualifying a separate new roofing company, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, just for the record, his license was issued originally April 22nd of 2019 is the original license date according to the state. 4/22 of 2019. And the current company is Woodstone Construction and Custom Roofing.
Yes, that is correct. That's the one that we're not doing business out of at the moment. The one we're doing business out of is IVMS International. And then the Woodstone Construction and Custom Roofing, we're transferring the license out into a brand new company that we've created.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion to suspend his license for a year in Hillsborough County.
It's
Second.
It has to be suspended permitting privileges, not license.
Correct.
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion?
I have some discussion.
Go for it.
And that's, I don't think the homeowner's been made whole on that contract for the roof. Sounds to me as, maybe she could mention that, is whether or not they've had to pay more money than the original contract.
Yeah, they have.
She said that already.
Yeah, she
Well,
did.
then
Yes, we did.
in that case, I don't think he ought to be reinstated until he makes the homeowner whole.
Can we do that?
Sure.
The one thing I'd like to mention is, no, he won't do business as Woodstone Construction any longer, but his license will go to another company
Well, it's still,
in Hillsborough County.
still
And
a
the same
contract.
thing,
It's still a contractor.
he is. But the same thing will happen to the next person, or could happen to the next person that happened to us, not under Woodstone, but under his license in Hillsborough County.
Right. That's why we take action against the individual license, not the company.
That's correct.
So,
Well, that's why I'm asking for his licensing, for his permitting privileges under his license be permanently revoked in Hillsborough.
Well, that's where it'll go to. It'll go to his license, not the name of his company.
right. But the motion is to suspend privileges for 1 year.
Can we make it a minimum of 1 year dependent upon the contractor making this homeowner whole as far as monies are concerned?
I don't know that we have that power. Ms. Murphy can chime in on that, but what we have done previously is made it revoke them until he's reinstated after a board appearance based on some other criteria that we've had to do, like 14 hours of CEUs or whatever. And then it just can go on for years till they finally get asked to be reinstated. And that takes a supermajority of the board. We've had cases in the past like that, but that's all you guys need to come up with. Cherie, you want to chime in on the make whole part?
Yes, good morning. I think the board could add language that he has to reappear before the board for reinstatement. I would outline any conditions that you have at this point, but have him come back to be reinstated.
But we can't order that he reimburse the homeowner for the costs. That's a civil matter, correct?
I have a concern because it wasn't necessarily noticed in the board packet. But I think when he comes back for reinstatement, I think he has to show that he has reached a level of compliance. And that's part of your discussion.
There's also the option under the contractor fund through the state, or this roofing is Division 2, I believe. So there is money available from the state that she would be entitled to, or the homeowner would be entitled to once it's in our order, that we can add that recommendation.
That is correct.
And the licensing fee that contractors pay, helps fund that fund. It was bankrupt years ago, but it's been replenished, and the legislature has put money in it also, is my understanding. So all of those options are available. So whoever wants to craft the motion, take that all into account and go for it.
It was hard to hear, Sherry.
Yes.
But I guess what you're saying is if the contractor can, if we suspend his license and then we require that, maybe we can't require that he, make the homeowner whole. But if he does make the homeowner whole, then he can come back in and ask for us to take the suspension away.
Because he stayed his license.
That is correct. So when he comes back for a motion for reinstatement, I think one of the issues the board would consider was compliance. So if he's made the homeowner whole, then I think that would be something that he would be able to present. And it sounds like the board has strongly encouraged that is what is that would be needed to be done to get his license reinstated. So I think that would be something that you can consider at that time.
So maybe I'm just talking to the board now. Maybe what we want to do is suspend his license for 2 years, which will give him a greater incentive to get this homeowner whole, and then come back and see us again, and let's see if we can reinstate him. But if we give him 1 year, then he might just wait it out. Maybe we need to make it a little harder.
Mike, the solution based on what everybody has put in, it would be to permanently revoke permitting privileges in Hillsborough County, City of Tampa, Temple Terrace, and Plant City until such time that the contractor appears before the board and has satisfied us that the homeowner has been made whole. And if you want to add CEUs, have at it.
Okay, so you said permanently suspend.
We can permanently revoke permitting privileges. We can't revoke his license, but by revoking, he just stops dead in the traffic. There's no movement forward. And that's the motivation. We've had guys like this before. I remember one case in Rescind. I don't want to give names, but you recommended the guy this guy has his license 3 years. April 22nd of 2019 is when he was granted a license by DBPR. So if he's serious about being a roofer, he's going to get off the stick and take care of this and make it go away like you recommended to other cases.
My only concern with the language that we're talking about here, and no offense, ma'am, if the contractor theoretically, let's say he pays the homeowner back the entirety of the project fee, and the homeowner is still not happy, right? There could be a situation where the roofer has done everything he possibly can, including full reimbursement, and there still may be some issues. So I think we should limit our stipulations to something that's more tangible. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think, the homeowner may never be happy. In fact, I got a feeling they won't be happy. But if he does cover all their expenses and the roof's not leaking, then he's fulfilled his responsibility and should therefore be allowed to give it one more shot and hopefully never see him again here.
Well, that was my point, to make them whole financially over and above what they had to pay to get somebody else to.
So are we talking about the whole contract sum for the GC or the additional money that they paid the second GC?
I'm talking about the additional funds
Right.
necessary
It's
to make.
$3,000. We got the coping done for $3,000 as the second contract.
Okay.
And truthfully, the monetary would be wonderful, but that's secondary. To me, I don't want this to happen to other people. That's
Right.
the main reason that I'm here, because this has not been a great 2 years.
No.
Well, this board has always tried to make the customer whole if we can.
I appreciate that very much.
And right, we do want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And we're, like I said, we never want to see, him here again. And the fact that we're letting the state will be made aware of his problem would add more onus to him, making sure he fulfills his contractual duties on every job.
Okay, all that being said, I'd like to hear somebody put a motion together, please.
Okay, I make a motion to permanently suspend his license or suspend his permitting privileges in Hillsborough County until he can make whole the out-of-pocket expenses to that customer.
Okay, suspend or revoke.
$3,000 for $3,000, and then at that point he'll have to come back to the board to ever get his license reinstated.
Then it needs to be revocation, not suspension. Because suspension, when the time period is up, it's automatic. So you want to revoke his permitting privileges until such time that the homeowner's made whole to the balance of $3,000. Mandatory appearance in front of the building board for reinstatement. Anything else?
Sounds pretty good to me.
If that's your intent, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. I hate to be the wordsmither, but Sheree and I'll have to work on it anyway. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it, Foster.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes, Sam. Would it be possible to suspend his permitting privileges for a minimum of 1 year, not once he pays the $3,000, get his license back? Because $3,000 to get your permitting privileges back seems like a pretty insignificant amount.
10-4, his new company may loan him that.
And he's got to come back to the board to get reinstated. And it's maybe, I agree with what you're saying, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that as I was, but he has to still come back to us at that point. And at that point, we say, look, well, I'd rather do it now than wait till he comes back.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Okay.
I mean, that's the point of the reinstatement, that, you know, you can't just go, gee, I'm sorry, let me back on the team. It's, these are the things I've accomplished. This is what I've done. And if we're not satisfied that it's sincere or enough time, say, come back in 6 months, you know, go take some more classes or whatever the board deems as appropriate for the situation.
And the problem we got, though, is we're going to probably forget, you know, the testimony of the homeowner and everything else, and we'll be ready to just, you know, let him get back to work. Maybe we want to establish it now that he has a 1 year suspension.
Minimum.
On his
Minimum.
1 year minimum, plus make the homeowner whole for $3,000. And plus he's got to come back to see us.
So how about if you say revocation minimum of 12 months from the date the order is signed, appearance before the board, and satisfaction of the homeowner?
Yes. Satisfaction homeowner for $3,000.
Okay, good with that, Mike?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion as crafted, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, board members. That's all my cases.
Thank you. Any off agenda items? I have one real quick. In case you're in anything to do with concrete, I know some of you are general contractors. There's a new type of cement. Up until very recently, we had 5 types of cement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And typically when you ordered concrete for a driveway or a sidewalk, you got type 1, 2. It's kind of a blend between regular Portland and sulfate resistant. There's a new sheriff in town, or a new brand in town. It's called 1L. 1L is an energy efficient, smaller carbon footprint cement. It acts just like type 1 and 1, 2. Instead of being C150, it's C595 from ASTM, and it uses a little more limestone, has the same chemical properties at the end of the day, but it's somehow more energy efficient in the manufacture and in the mining of the product. So just a heads up for you guys. New building code at the end of next year, 2023. And that's on the horizon coming up. They're seeking comments on reference standards this month, and we'll go from there. Next meeting date will be in July of 2022. Kimber had mentioned something about more people can meet in person. Is that what you told me before, Kimber?
That's correct. More
So,
people can come to the library.
so maybe we can meet face to face for the first time in 2.5 years. Anybody have anything else? Okay, hearing none. We're adjourned at 10:13. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.